That 10-minute high after you click buy, and then the gut punch of regret? Today we break the emotional spending loop, from dopamine hits to financial shame, and show practical fixes. A 48-hour pause that cools impulse, a joy fund that stops binge buys, in simple friction like deleting shopping apps. We'll also unpack BNPL traps and how social feeds push identity-driven purchases. Stay to the end for a step-by-step toolkit you can use tonight.
Okay, if you're listening, I bet you know this feeling. It's that instant buzz, that dopamine surge when you click buy now. Could be a new phone, could just be ordering pizza because you can't face the kitchen. Maybe even another subscription you don't really need. It feels great for like 10 minutes.
Right.
But then, almost right away, bam, that cold, heavy feeling hits. Financial shame, maybe a little dread.
That cycle is exactly why we're digging into this today. We're not just talking about, messy budgets. This is about emotional spending.
Okay.
And based on the great stuff you shared, it's really a deep psychological thing, a coping mechanism, almost self-soothing, trying to fill some kind of void, maybe from anxiety, loneliness, stress, even self-doubt, a temporary fix.
Right. We hear retail therapy thrown around all the time, though. Sounds kind of light, like, oh, I'll just pop to the mall. Is that what we mean?
That's a really important distinction, actually. Retail therapy, usually it's pretty conscious, controlled. You stay within budget, maybe a fancy coffee to cheer yourself.
Subscribe, ring the bell, and leave me a comment. Both cases, I read them all.
Up. Emotional spending, much wider and often, frankly, more destructive. It's unnecessary spending triggered by any strong emotion. And what's really eye-opening from the data, it's not just about hiding from bad feelings.
So what are the triggers based on the sources? What's driving it?
Well, get this. The sources show positive emotions are often leading the pack. Happiness, that's 46%. Excitement, 45%. Those actually edge out feeling stressed, which is 42%, or bored at 41%.
Wow.
So you're often chasing the next high, not just, running away from feeling low.
That completely flips the usual idea, doesn't it? It's not purely defensive. It can be about seeking that good feeling.
Precisely.
So our goal here today, looking at all this data, isn't about shaming anyone. We're all human, right? It's about understanding the root cause and, crucially, offering some practical tools to maybe break that cycle. Because the numbers are stark. 74% of people doing this admit they overspend, and for 44%, it's actively hurting their financial health. That's not insignificant.
Not at all. It's a major issue.
Okay, let's get into that cycle you mentioned, that psychological trap.
Right. So that reward system in your brain, it goes into overdrive when you buy something. That's the dopamine hit, immediate relief. Your brain basically goes, phew, problem solved, good job.
But the real problem wasn't solved, was it? The loneliness, the stress, whatever it was, that's still sitting there.
Exactly.
And now you've just piled debt or financial worry on top.
You got it. Because the purchase didn't fix the core issue, the fallout, the bill, the regret shows up later. And that creates a new wave of anxiety or guilt.
Oh.
And since your brain's now kind of learned that shopping equals relief, well, you're primed to want to shop again to fix the new stress.
Wow, yeah. That is the definition of a financially damaging feedback loop. So, okay, when does this cross the line? Like from being a bad habit to something more clinical, how do you know if you're just being a bit irresponsible versus heading towards real trouble?
That's a critical question. Emotional spending exists on a spectrum, At the far end, it can develop into compulsive buying disorder, CBD. Now, CBD is different. It's chronic, it feels uncontrollable, and it leads to severe consequences. Think major debt, maybe losing a job, relationship breakdowns.
Right.
For most folks struggling with emotional spending habits, though, it's more episodic. It's often driven by trying to grab some temporary...
Real quick, hit subscribe, bell on, and let me know what you think.
control. Maybe life feels chaotic, job stress, relationship issues, health worries. But hey, you can instantly control what goes into your online cart.
So buying that new smart speaker isn't really about the speaker itself. It's about feeling like you're the boss, the CEO of your own choices, just for 5 minutes, controlling something when everything else feels messy.
Precisely. It's a stand-in. The purchase kind of validates you or gives you this artificial feeling of agency when maybe real emotional satisfaction or actual control is missing.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. How does this whole emotional spending thing look different across the U.S.? Depending on, say, your age or how much you earn, the sources suggest the coping mechanisms really change depending on your circumstances.
Oh, absolutely they do. The underlying feeling, maybe stress, maybe boredom might be similar, but what people buy and why changes quite dramatically.
But let's start young, Gen Z. So 18 to 26, grown up, totally online.
Yeah, for Gen Z, a huge driver seems to be FOMO, fear of missing out, and just intense social pressure. You're constantly seeing online what everyone else has, right? So there's this feeling of, if I don't have that new phone, that trending thing, I'm basically invisible. And they're also really prone to what some call doom spending. It's this sense that big things like owning a home or, climate change, they feel impossible. So the logic becomes, why save? Let's live it up now.
Kind of fatalistic.
It can be. It's like, enjoy today because tomorrow feels uncertain or even bleak. And the data backs this up. 43% of Gen Z folks using buy now, pay later have missed at least one payment. That's significant debt risk.
That makes a grim kind of sense. If the future feels blocked, optimize the present. Okay, what about millennials? Ages, say, 27 to 42.
Yeah.
Often peak juggling time, right? Career, kids, maybe debt.
Exactly. Millennials are under huge pressure. Career ladders, young families, often mortgages or student loans hanging over them. For them, emotional spending often looks like lifestyle creep.
Oh, yeah.
Or framing it as a self-reward. So spending on convenience becomes justified food delivery, subscription boxes, smart home gadgets. It's framed as, I worked so hard, I deserve this treat. Or I'm too wiped out to cook, so this expensive takeout is worth it.
I've been there. Okay, moving up in age, older adults, maybe 50 plus. Their money worries often shift towards things like retirement, security.
For this group, the emotional trigger is frequently loneliness, maybe empty nest syndrome, maybe just more social isolation. So the spending often focuses on comfort, home improvements, nice decor, maybe entertainment subscriptions, things to fill the space or feel more connected.
Spending to feel less alone.
Pretty much. They might spend ages scrolling online looking for that perfect little thing that brings a bit of temporary comfort.
It feels kind of cruel that the folks who can often least afford it might fall into this trap just for some basic relief. What about people in lower income groups?
Yeah, for those with less income, it's usually not about big, flashy purchases. The spending tends to be on small, cheap, immediate treats. A fancy coffee they wouldn't normally buy, maybe grabbing something small on sale.
Slow pick-me-up.
Exactly. A tiny hit of pleasure to get a break from this constant, grinding stress of tight finances. But the huge difference is the consequence. A $50 impulse buy. If that triggers an overdraft fee, it can be genuinely destabilizing when there's absolutely zero financial cushion. The impact is immediate and severe.
Oof. Okay, lastly, high-income earners. They have the money, presumably. Is their spending still emotionally driven?
Oh, absolutely. It just looks different. For the affluent, you often see status spending, using luxury goods, exclusive travel, expensive hobbies to signal success, maybe prop up self-worth.
Keeping up appearances.
And often, they're grappling with what psychologists call money scripts. These are those deep-seated, often unconscious beliefs about money we learn growing up. For this group, it might be a money status script, the idea that your personal value is directly tied to having expensive things and projecting an image of success.
So the underlying emotion is still there, it just wears fancier clothes.
You could put it that way, yeah.
Okay, so if the emotion is the engine driving this, technology now feels like the turbocharger, right? Making it ridiculously easy to act on impulse.
Hit that subscribe, bell it up, and ride the full wave with me.
Let's talk about the Trojan horse of modern finance. Buy now, pay later, BNPL. Huge catalyst, isn't it?
Oh, massively. BNPL is basically designed to break down the normal psychological hesitation around spending.
How so?
Well, it drastically cuts the pain of payment, right?
Yeah.
By splitting the cost, often with no interest up front, it creates this powerful illusion of affordability. Your emotional brain just sees that small first payment, not the total cost down the line. So you end up buying stuff you probably couldn't or wouldn't afford all at once. Yeah.
And this isn't just theory. The sources show, 55% of BNPL users admit they spend more than they would have otherwise.
Exactly. And that number jumps even higher for younger people.
Yeah.
62% of Gen Z say BNPL makes them spend more emotionally.
Wow.
And the real danger kicks in when people start juggling multiple BNPL plans from different stores. Suddenly, you've got this scattered, confusing debt load that's super hard to track. Plus, a lot of this payment activity doesn't fully hit your traditional credit report right away.
So it hides the true picture of your debt.
Yeah, you could be drowning in these small payment plans and not even grasp the total amount you actually owe. It masks the real obligation.
Okay, the other huge accelerator, social media. Platforms like TikTok, Instagram. They're not just selling products anymore, are they? They're selling an entire identity, this kind of social proof.
Totally. It fundamentally shifts why you buy something. It becomes less about, do I need this? And more about, well, performing a certain version of yourself, expressing who you are, who you want to be, by having what you see online. If an influencer you follow has a certain aesthetic, buying those items feels like an act of identity confirmation. That emotional pull, way stronger than looking at a budget spreadsheet.
Definitely. Okay, so if these money problems are really, as you say, behavioral health problems,
Yeah.
the answer isn't just a better budget spreadsheet, is it?
No, not fundamentally. The real solution has to address the underlying emotion. The loneliness, the stress, the boredom, whatever it is. Now, for really severe chronic cases, professional help is key. Things like financial therapy or cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, those are vital for deep recovery.
But for, many of us who just get caught in that impulse loop, I know I'm guilty of the add to cart, check out immediately. Sometimes we need ways to just interrupt it. Put up a stop sign. What's step one for immediate help?
Step one is about building friction back into the process, deliberately making it harder to spend on impulse. A great tactic is the 48-hour delay rule.
Okay, tell me more.
Simple concept. For any non-essential purchase over a certain amount, you decide the amount you force yourself to wait 48 hours. Just pause. That pause breaks the immediate impulse dopamine connection. It gives your rational brain a chance to catch up and ask, okay, do I really need this, or am I just feeling stressed, bored, excited right now?
That makes psychological sense. Create space. But what stops me from just buying it 48 hours later anyway? How do we make the pause effective?
That's where you need healthy replacements, which we'll definitely get to. But first, let's talk about making this sustainable. People often fail when they feel totally deprived, right? Which is why the Joy Fund is important.
Ooh, I like the sound of a Joy Fund.
Yeah. Instead of cutting out all fun spending, you allocate a specific fixed amount of money, like an allowance that's purely for guilt-free small treats.
Okay.
This gives you back a sense of control. It acknowledges you deserve little joys, but keeps it within healthy financial limits. It stops the pressure building up until you explode on a huge impulse buy.
Got it. A planned treat fund. Step 3 seems to tackle that BNPL illusion head on. Increase the pain of payment friction. Make it feel more real.
Exactly. This means practical stuff. Delete shopping apps off your phone. Seriously. Remove your stored credit card details from web browsers and those e-wallets.
Make yourself type it in every time.
Yes. And for spending money that's not essential bills, try using physical cash. The simple act of handing over cash, or even just having to get up, find your wallet, pull out the card, it makes the transaction more tangible. It brings back some of that natural friction, that pain of parting with money.
Right, make it less abstract.
Yeah.
Okay, beyond friction, we need actual alternatives for that shopping high. What are some healthy replacements for that quick dopamine fix?
You want things that offer a more lasting positive effect, not just that fleeting buzz. Think about intense exercise gets endorphins going. Journaling can be huge for actually processing the emotions instead of burying them.
Okay.
Even something simple like focused cleaning or organizing can give a sense of accomplishment. Learning a new skill engages your brain differently. And really importantly, pro-social spending.
Spending on others.
Yes, but controlled. Spending a small planned amount on someone else, buying a friend a coffee, donating a small amount to charity. Studies consistently show this gives a more sustained happiness boost than spending the same amount on yourself.
Interesting. Okay, finally, tackling that FOMO, the social pressure piece. There's this trend called loud budgeting that seems like a really direct counter.
It is. It's all about radical accountability and transparency. It means being open and honest socially about your financial goals and boundaries.
So instead of making excuses,
You have a polite script ready. So if friends invite you to an expensive dinner, instead of awkwardly saying, I can't afford it, you might say, that sounds fun, but it doesn't quite fit with my budget goals this month. How about we grab coffee next week instead?
normalize saying no based on your goals.
Exactly. It takes the shame out of it and stops FOMO from driving your spending decisions.
Okay, so taking a step back here. Emotional spending, it's not really a moral failing, is it? Or some sign of weakness. It sounds more like a learned coping skill, something we pick up to deal with a world that feels, frankly, pretty stressful or lonely sometimes.
That's a great way to put it. And the path to, let's say, healing or changing that pattern, it really starts when you recognize the emotional root. Am I lonely, stressed, bored? and then consciously start swapping that short-lived shopping high for coping strategies that actually last and nourish you.
Takes real intention, doesn't it? Not just waiting till the bank account is empty.
Absolutely. Awareness first, then intentional action.
So I want to leave you, our listener, with this thought, kind of pulled from the tension in everything we've discussed today. We live in this economy where, on one hand, companies are creating tools like BNPL that actively make it easier to spend emotionally, maybe get into debt. But on the other hand, we have these grassroots movements like loud budgeting, pushing for total openness and accountability. So for you personally, thinking about real lasting change in your own life, what do you think holds more power? Is it external things like regulation or tech that adds friction back? Or is it the deeper internal work, really understanding and changing your own money scripts?
That's a powerful question to sit with, and maybe a practical step I'd encourage you listening. Think about what your main emotional trigger is. Is it usually loneliness, boredom, stress? And then just commit to trying one non-spending stress relief strategy this week. Just one.
Yeah, great idea. And hey, share your favorite non-spending stress relief hack in the comments below. Let's build up some ideas for each other, create a bit of a supportive community around breaking this cycle.
Love that.
Thanks so much for diving deep with us today.
My pleasure.